passion, energy, action, activity, joy, fun, intimacy, connection, mental acuity, focus, consciousness, optimism, activity, engagement, affection, vibrancy. These are just some of the attributes or characteristics of the fire element of the five elements of Chinese medicine. Its season is summer, and it's when everything is the most active and life is the most vibrant and in full bloom now. My midlife mamas, I want to remind you, we still have so much. We have plenty of fire still burning inside of us. So let's not waste it. Let's optimize it and take some action now. Welcome to Beyond Menopause Belly, your midlife reimagined. Today we are talking about the fire element of Chinese medicine, which is, yes, part of the dynamic holistic system of the five elements of Chinese medicine. Fire is one of the most fun elements to talk about because fire represents this passion, this intimacy, this joy, connection, all of the things that I just mentioned. It also creates the capacity to love, to create purpose and inspire uplifting, amazing relationships. And don't we want that? It's so incredibly important for women in midlife to cultivate positive connections, relationships, and find meaning and purpose in your life and realize that this is not the beginning of the end, but the beginning of a new empowering chapter of your life built around joy and freedom. Now, by building connections first with yourself and then with others whom you feel aligned with now in this new upgraded season of your life and finding joy in your daily activities, you can feel way more fulfilled and satisfied in your life now and in the future years. And allowing your passions to bloom, you realize there is still so much more purpose in life you get to live and experience. It's never too late to try to start something new. Realizing our passions are, because look, we're not the same anymore. So our passions have likely changed and they are unique to all of us. We must honor them and feel a sense of fulfillment and joy. Now, here's something interesting about kind of finding your passions in your 50s or 60s or late 40s or what have you. A friend of mine who I met when we were both living in Portugal years and years ago wrote a book that was really very successful. She was even on Good Morning America, but she totally lost herself and her joy when she went through an extremely difficult divorce in her early 50s. She made a decision, though, to move abroad, which allowed her time and space to heal. And during that time of healing, she rediscovered passion for writing. And now she gets to turn her pain into passion. Look, we don't have to have gone through pain to have new passion or to do something new, but we have all this wisdom and new and experience that we can turn into our passion. Well, all of us have our unique gifts, experiences, wisdom, and desires to make us feel alive. And now is the time to realize them and make this next season the best one yet. So I love this quote about the fire element. It's by Gail Reichstein, and she is the author of the book that's called Wood Becomes Water. She says, in its proper measure, joy warms, activates, and enlivens the body. Joy, opens to the heart and inspires people to connect in warm ways with friends, colleagues, and lovers. Joy also spreads, Smiles and laughter are contagious, and people who are happy enjoy spreading happiness to others. The fire element is connected with the heart and pericardium. Those are the organs that are associated with it. So the heart, they say, houses the mind, and then the pericardium is the protector of the heart. The fire element is one of the most fun elements, again, to talk a bit about, because the fire does represent all of these amazing characteristics like the joy and the activity and the connection, again, as well as the capacity to love. And I think it's really important just to say again that at our age, I think it's time that we always reevaluate the relationships that we have, all relationships, and really make sure that they're aligned with who we are now. It's our heart's desire to make personal and intimate connections in our lives. We wish to have personal, intimate connections with lovers and partners, as well as close personal relationships in our friendships, workplace, and community. The greatest joys come from intimate relationships, friends, and generosity of an open heart. The zest of life of the well-adapted fire element is contagious. The warmth, the enthusiasm, and optimism is palpable, right? Just think about what it's like in the summer. You walk out, everybody's active and happy and just feeling alive. So we talked a lot about all of these great attributes and positive aspects of the fire element, but what if your fire element is out of balance? From a Chinese medicine perspective, when we observe conditions that are out of balance, we are really discerning to see if this condition is in excess or deficiency. So what does that even mean? Well, good question. Think of it this way for now. An excess condition will likely manifest as hyperfunctioning, while deficiency condition will manifest as hypofunctioning. So we'll talk about that more in another post. I just want to share a little bit of what those actual characteristics will look like in the fire element if it's out of balance in either excess or condition. So let's start with excess. Too much fire. Excess heat or movement can lead to too much of that yang energy, and you may become too excitable, too hot, too fast, flush face, spontaneous sweating, especially in the head and neck area, heart palpitations or racing heart, feeling a little feverish. These are just some of the signs of what we call an excess heat condition. When you're talking about the chi, which is our life energy, everything is energy, right? Ask Einstein. And this chi is what we call it, this life energy. That we look at the dynamics of the chi, the health of the chi. Is the chi flowing? Now, what happens when in an excess condition, the chi is rising and dispersing. And that can look like anxiety, insomnia, restlessness, agitation, hyperactivity. And by the way, I know a lot of these signs are sounding like menopausal symptoms, and they are. There's a slight difference. I'm not going to dive into that now. I really want you to check out the yin and yang of menopause. It's a small course, but it packs a punch, and it's going to give you a lot of insight on how we view menopause from a Chinese medicine perspective. Hyperactivity, impulsiveness, egotisticness, arrogance, mania, forgetfulness, inability to concentrate, dryness, right? Getting overheated, drying out. And did you know that an imbalance of the fire element can manifest also as too much joy or excess laughter? And not just like any laughter, like you're just free, free-spirited and laughing. It's more of that inappropriate laughter that seems awkward in some social situations, you know the type, right? Again, palpitations or racing heart, that flushed face, the tip of your tongue might be red. We have a whole diagnostic system just on our tongue evaluation. So this seems a little intense, don't you think? So What do we do about it? Again, another good question. We need to calm that shiz down. So let's find some essential oils and acupuncture points to help descend the chi, to descend the fire, clear the heat, and calm that damn crazy busy mind already. So a good place to start. So you can choose, I love this oil called vetiver or patchouli, and using it on the bottom of the foot, kidney 1 point, got the picture here, for this function. So that's really, think about at the bottom of your feet, it's going to descend that chi. It's going to just bring everything down, super grounding. As a matter of fact, vetiver comes from the root of the plant. The oil comes from the root. So that's like the most grounded part of the plant. Now, incorporating cooling foods okay, let me just share one thing. You don't want to like do too many cooling things because you don't want it to completely extinguish your fire. Again, we're always looking for that balance. But cooling foods will also help to tone down a fire that has gotten too out of hand. So some examples might be watermelon, mung bean, cucumbers, great, celery, chrysanthemum, dandelion, and elderberry are great herbal teas. All right, so now what about that deficiency fire? What does that look like? Well, let me share with you. It's going to be what you might think, a lack of joy, unrelenting sadness, inability to find joy in most any aspect of your life, kind of a dull affect, right? Never really finding it easy to just be bright and smiley. Poor focus, mental fatigue, poor memory. Again, I remember I said the heart houses the mind. Lack of connection, chronic procrastination, disturbing dreams, mental confusion, a muddled mind, low sexual desire, loss of intimacy. Your face and tongue will probably be pale, your face like complexion a little dull. Now, when we see these signs and symptoms, what do you think we need to do? That's right. We need to spark and ignite some fire. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to need to, instead of ascending chi, we need to raise the chi, warm and lift the mind. So eucalyptus is a great essential oil that can help fan that flame. Essential oils such as clove, cinnamon, and ginger help things heat up. They're very warming oils. The fire element can have a tendency to be dysregulated pretty easily, meaning it can have this pull and push effect. One can present with joy excess in 1 minute and then crash and withdraw and have more of a flatness. Have you ever seen this in anyone? Like these highs and lows? This can be chronic or it can be acute. So I love just using essential oils that are in generally balancing for that heart energy, which are rose oil, ylang ylang, jasmine. I love these oils for just keeping that fire element balanced and just happy. And I love it using Heart 7, which is basically right here on your wrist. Also, oil of some of the foods that kind of add some more heat are beets. Think about red foods. Pomegranates, those are really good for helping that fire. Even though they're not hot, they're kind of nourishing the blood and raising the heat. Beef also does that, but I don't love recommending beef. If your digestion does really well with beef, you can add that in small quantities. I don't eat it anymore, but that is something that does kind of warm up that chi and kind of heat up the fire. Also, simple warming spices like cloves, cinnamon, and ginger and cayenne are also good to heat it up. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was fun. I hope you saw how the fire element can be just such a fun element to talk about, and how it is part of this holistic system. So what did you relate to? Do you feel like you've experienced a balanced fire element, or do you have a tendency for more of that deficiency or excess fire? I would love to hear. And what have you done for it? Do you feel like this is part of your archetype? Let me know, and I look forward to sharing our next element, which is the earth element. All right, take care.